guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a Saturday. I know, it's still so early to be talking about the NFL draft, but I can't help myself but look at the current draft order, the latest mock drafts, and who Philadelphia could take with not one, but 2 first-round draft picks to, as you'll see, improve that defensive line. I know we're thinking about this week, and you got to play the Colts on Sunday, and then you got to, get the number 1 seed, win a Super Bowl, all important, but it all kind of ties into building for next year, improving for next year, and maybe winning another Super Bowl next year. And so let's jump right into the NFL draft. Even if you're not an Eagle fan, we're still going to look at the top 10 and these picks and who people could be taking according to the latest mock draft. So first off, here you go. Tankathon draft order. As of today, obviously November 19th on a Saturday, here is where the current order stands. Houston is 1. Seems very clear Houston will be the number 1 overall pick. The Texans have just not been that great. And so obviously they're going to take probably a quarterback, as we'll see in this mock draft. Raiders are 2 right now. 2-7 is shocking right now for the Raiders. They have some serious issues up and down the chain of command there. Carolina sits at number 3, very clearly taking a quarterback. Philadelphia is 4 right now due to the New Orleans tiebreaker with the Carolina Panthers. So obviously you see how that could go to be number 3. Jacksonville 5, Chicago 6, then you have Detroit via the Rams, Seattle via Denver, and the Texans via the Cleveland Browns. Houston, 2 top 10 draft picks, very impressive there with a big chance to possibly get better. Now, again, a couple of quick focuses here for Philadelphia before we see the mock draft. You have got to root for the Raiders. You want the Raiders to win every single game from here on out. You are big Raider fans in Philadelphia because that's the big difference maker in Philadelphia possibly getting Will Anderson and not, as we will see. And I think Will Anderson is the right pick for Philadelphia. Same goes for Carolina. You want all of these teams sitting 1 through 6, 1 through 7 to start winning football games because that means Philadelphia's draft pick can get better, as long as the Saints obviously start losing games. So you root against the Saints. You root for the Houston Texans, for the Las Vegas Raiders, for the Carolina Panthers. That is good news right now for Philadelphia. Now, the Eagles obviously have the 31st overall draft pick because Miami forfeits the 29th because of the Brady tampering. But that, of course, can be anywhere between really 19 and 32 if they make the postseason, depending on how far they go. So this is, a late draft pick right now because of the standings, but depending on how well you do in the postseason, the draft pick can go up and down. All right, we're going to get into the mock draft in just 1 second. First, though, you're going to bet on the Eagles or any team this Sunday as they take on the Indianapolis Colts. You bet $5 via my DraftKings link down below. You get $200 back in free bets if they win. A bunch of you guys have jumped in on this, and so far, Philadelphia's won every game but one. All you got to do, use my link down below. Click sign up right here. You see it right there on the TFM website. Take you to DraftKings, register, deposit, place that money line bet, and if Philadelphia wins, you will go ahead and get $200 back in free bets. Again, link down below. Really good deal for DraftKings and the Eagles. I think they're going to bounce back and win on Sunday, and we'll have a preview for that game coming up tomorrow. All right, here's your mock draft. Yahoo Sports has the most recent one, and I think it's the best one because there are a bunch of kind of bloggy websites that have some mock draft, mock drafts and draft picks. I think this is the best one that's currently out right now. Texans go quarterback at number 1 overall. That's good. You want the quarterbacks to go. Let the defensive players come back because Philadelphia's obviously going to go defense. Houston goes with C.J. Stroud. Here is why the Raiders need to start winning because the Raiders are going to take Will Anderson. They're not going to get out of the Derek Carr contract. This whole idea they're going to take Bryce Young is ridiculous. Raiders might either trade out and let somebody come get Bryce Young, or if they're smart, they improve their edge rush by drafting Will Anderson. Now, that's who I want. I want Philadelphia to get Will Anderson. He, to me, is very, very, very clearly the best pass rusher in the NFL draft out of Alabama. There's a little Yahoo Sports typo there. Good job, guys, because that's not Alabama. That says Georgia. But either way, Anderson goes number 2 to the Raiders. The Panthers take Bryce Young. Again, very likely that Carolina goes quarterback, leaving Philadelphia the second best defensive player on the board. And in this mock draft, they take Myles Murphey, the defensive end out of Clemson, who, to me, very underrated right now because he plays at Clemson, and Clemson is, seemingly not that good this year. I know that they're good in the ACC, but overall, it's not a very good Clemson year. This is a very interesting choice, though, because of who goes 5. Jaguars take Jalen Carter. Philadelphia's going to have a big decision, right? Because you have an edge rusher here and more of a defensive tackle here in Jalen Carter, both of which make sense, but you kind of have to go to the Eagles' depth chart to decide which one you actually want, right? Let's just paint the picture here. Brandon Graham, I think he signed for next season, not a factor. So you need a Brandon Graham replacement. The same goes for Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn is not going to be an Eagle in 2023. Those are your 2 top edge rushers not named Josh Sweat. So you have Sweat, who's been good this year at times. Think the strip sack of Taylor Heineke on Monday night, but not overall as productive as his contract goes ahead and pays him for. But you're going to need an edge rusher. It's very clear they're going to need a pass rusher. Now, Hargrave will still be there. Cox will not. They're not going to bring back Fletcher Cox. He makes too much money. He's in the final year of his deal, and he just not been productive. Now, they're probably not going to bring back Ndamukong Suh, and they're probably not going to bring back Linval Joseph. So you're going to have Jordan Davis here, who's currently on IR, and Milton Williams, but that's basically it. So it will depend on how confident you are in Jordan Davis, whether you want to come back to the mock draft here and take another defensive tackle from Georgia, or a pass rusher from Clemson. Now, you might say take the D tackle. You're forgetting that Myles Murphey is a beast. He's 6'5", 275, and all 3 years at Clemson, he's had 10-plus sacks. This year, through, 10 games? He's currently sitting on 10 sacks. I mean, the guy has been an absolute monster so far this season and would be another great edge rusher. He's not Will Anderson's level, at least not yet. Maybe he surpasses him, who knows? But I definitely think Myles Murphey would be a very solid pick right now for the Philadelphia Eagles and makes a ton of sense for them sitting there at number 4. Now, let's keep going here. We'll get to Philadelphia's 31st overall pick, see some other defensive linemen go. The other Clemson D lineman goes to the Bears. The Seahawks take Tyree Wilson, another pass rusher from the Texas Tech. Not as good to me as Myles Murphy or Will Anderson, but an option if that Saints pick were to fall back a little bit. Ringo, the best cornerback in the draft, he would go to the Lions out of Georgia. The Texans via Cleveland take Quentin Johnston, the wide receiver out of TCU. And then the Steelers get the first offensive lineman in the draft sitting there at number 10. We'll keep going here. Trenton Simpson, the linebacker from Clemson at 11. Jordan Anderson, another wide receiver for Atlanta. A little strange there. We'll go at 12. And then you go offensive line to the Cardinals, offensive line to the Packers, and quarterback in Hendon Hooker to the Colts at 15, with the Commanders going Will Levis out of Kentucky there at 16. Now, when you get all the way down to where Philadelphia is sitting at the end of this draft, it's worth noting a couple of draft picks before it, right? Jalen Hyatt, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, 28 to the Giants. Christian Gonzalez, the cornerback out of Oregon. If you wanted a cornerback, one goes there. Another D lineman out of LSU, not, important enough if Philadelphia already has one. And then Brandon Joseph, the safety out of Notre Dame, coming in at 31, technically, for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, they say this about Joseph, if you're not watching Notre Dame games this year. Playmaking safety, ball hawkish skills, picked off 10 passes in his last 29 games played. Good in the run. 152 tackles over a span of games illustrates his multifaceted contributions on defense, operate effectively in the deep middle portion of the field, or match up individually with moved tight ends. He's intelligent, athletic, versatile, has leadership qualities, blah, 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 blah. So good things there from Joseph. The question is really going to be, what do you do with Marcus Epps? Because C.J. Gardner-Johnson's here to stay. He's a beast. I mean, God, leads the league in interceptions right now. And this would be a Marcus Epps replacement for Philadelphia, who he's not been terrible, but if Philadelphia does feel like they figure out the interior defensive line and they want to upgrade the next important part on this defense, safety does make some sense if you don't fully believe in Marcus Epps as the future in Philadelphia. Some people do, some people don't. It's an interesting overall look in terms of what he's going to be for Philadelphia going forward in the future. Now, cornerback is mentioned in a couple of other mock drafts that I have looked at. Obviously not bringing this one, or this one does not have Philadelphia taking a cornerback. There's a couple of good ones like Devin Witherspoon, the cornerback out of Illinois. Will he be there at 31? Not quite sure, but you could see if Philadelphia was in kind of the 20 range. The Patriots took him at 21 in this mock draft. And then Joey Porter Jr., yes, the son of that Joey Porter, the NFL player out of Penn State. He would go at 18 to the Bengals. Really big corner at 6'2", 191. Potentially be either a Darius Slay replacement or a James Bradbury replacement. I think Philadelphia, as you look at free agents, they're going to focus more on Bradbury first. I think he's the most important defensive free agent right now. Once you lock him down, you're good at corner for the next at least 2 years. And Zach McPherson's supposed to be kind of the heir apparent. So I get the idea of going cornerback in the first round late with that second draft pick, but I don't think it's as necessary. That's why they went safety in this mock draft, and I think that it does make a ton of sense. So things are going to change. And again, this draft order here is going to change. There are going to be, big changes inside the top 10, but Philadelphia being in the top 5 seems very, very likely, especially what the Saints have done so far this year. And if they can keep a top 5 pick, and you get the Raiders behind them instead of in front of them, and you have these quarterback-heavy teams like Carolina and Houston all up front there, Philadelphia's chances of getting Will Anderson or Myles Murphey, two of the best pass rushers in this draft, is very good. And if they were able to do that, you kind of substitute Robert Quinn and Brandon Graham to aging stars who are no longer stars in the National Football League with a young superstar on a rookie contract who can really contribute to this defense, especially the first couple of seasons. So we'll keep an eye on this. We don't do mock drafts every single week during the NFL season. I'll probably do that more when we get to the end of the NFL season, but I want to give you guys little peeks and little glances every couple of weeks here to show you where Philadelphia is at and who they have mocked according to some of the experts out there in the National Football League. All right, there you go. There is our NFL draft, our mock draft look here in the middle of November. Getting ready for a Colts-Eagles matchup on Sunday. We'll have more on that tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. Be sure to thumbs up for the show and subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.